Uh,
Well, Raised by Wolves, which I released January 29th, 2009, is first my autobiography. And since I've released it, I've sold probably just under 4,000 independently. Well, at least 3,500 of them, because I probably gave away 500 of them over the period of these last few years. Well worth it though, because now it is starting to take on a life of its own. It's gotten its own momentum. It's on a hill now, and it's just rolling, 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 which is what freed me up to start allocating time and attention to this secondary project, Get Smart. So Raised by Wolves is doing very well, actually, better each day. The impact of the word. I began really reading as far as like being out of school, which I left in 10th grade, reading something that was not designated to me to read. I began reading like that in, say, 1995. And the impact of the information that I was encountering from this reading, it blew my mind. And I was like, yo, you can find anything you could possibly imagine reading about, or anything you could possibly imagine wanting to know in a book. And it had such a profound impact on me. And I've always enjoyed writing. It was one of the few things about school I enjoyed besides art, which was my forte. And, I just kind of felt like it was something I was meant to do. And turns out that I have a particular aptitude for it. I was always pretty good with words, articulating myself. I mean, I'm a cat from the street, like I said, with a 10th grade education. And you are not able to discern that from my articulation or my vocabulary, because I am enamored with the word. The word is extremely powerful. It's built and destroyed empires. So that was really what drew me forth into the genre. Slim, Iceberg, Robert Beck. He predates by probably 40 years, Donald Goins, and he was a hustler like myself. His particular area of expertise was pimping, and he was the real thing, the genuine article. But he had a gift, he had an ability that was tied to being good at being a pimp, which is being able to kick it, being able to, that gift, that game, that word. And he really inspired me. Um, I guess it was the first book that I read that really made me say, you can do this. And it was Monster Cody's book, Monster, or Sanyika Shakur's book, Monster. And when I read that and I read his story, and I saw the commonalities in our experiences, it made me understand the validity of being able to put forth these types of experiences and have them be received by people who are far removed from them. And it just felt like I could do it too, And I began entertaining it then, even though it was just like, oh, I can do it. If he can write, I can do it. If he can write about his life, I can do it. Still, the idea of actually writing about my life, as I was still living it. 95, I was still, neck deep in the game. So the thought of writing about my exploits was the farthest thing from my mind. If there weren't a file somewhere that was being compiled to, be brought against me in some sort of way, I wasn't about to create one. And it was only after I retired in 97 that it even occurred to me to start writing about my life and in detail. And it wasn't as though I was thinking about making a book. It was just an introspection. It was for me to make a determination about where I might go by taking an unbiased and honest look at where I'd been, where I come from, my developmental circumstances. And so that's what that was. It just evolved into a manuscript because I began to come into contact with so much information about my past that I really put away. I didn't remember it, but in writing it, and I physically wrote it, I didn't have a computer. Well, I had one, but I was completely intimidated by computers because I had never touched one. So.
Digital. Put the asses out on these niggas.